Andy Cohen addresses rumor of Lisa Vanderpump's possible return to RHOBH. Lisa Vanderpump quit The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills in Season 9, but there are rumors about her possible return every year. Those claims re-emerged recently, and Bravo boss Andy Cohen addressed them on his radio show. Lisa has been booked and busy since she departed the franchise, finding success on Vanderpump Rules. The show is getting a reboot, but Lisa will still be a cast member and executive producer of the revamped reality series. It is her restaurant after all. Meanwhile, RHOBH has continued without the 64-year-old, after she burned bridges with all of her former castmates. The show is now in its 14th season, and fans of the franchise have continued to ask about her return. However, is there any truth to the recent rumblings? Andy Cohen dismisses claim about Lisa Vanderpump's RHOBH return. Andy addressed the latest RHOBH rumor on SiriusXM's Radio Andy. It was repeated all over the place that I'm trying to get Lisa Vanderpump back on the Housewives of Beverly Hills, said the dad of two. Now let me restate my abject love for Lisa Vanderpump, but I don't know where the rumor came from, and I don't see her coming back to that show, he confessed. Andy reasoned that Lisa doesn't have a close relationship with anyone on RHOBH after her major fallout with former best friend Kyle Richards. The Puppygate saga also spelled the end of her friendship with Dorit Kemsley. I guess she's kind of friends with Garcelle, noted Andy, adding that as for the other women, I don't even think she has any desire, or they have any desire to interact. Friendships are falling apart on RHOBH. If Lisa is tuned in to Season 14 of RHOBH, she might be smirking at the current turn of events. Kyle and Dorit bonded after Lisa exited the show and formed the Fox Force 5 with Lisa Rinna, Erica Jane, and Teddy Mellencamp. However, Season 13 marked their downfall when Kathy Hilton joined the show and ended up in a heated feud with Lisa. The former soap star eventually bid goodbye to the franchise, not on the best terms with Kyle. Lisa and Kathy's drama also caused tensions between Kyle and Dorit, when the Beverly Beach star chimed in and defended Kathy at the Season 13 reunion. That has now turned into a full-fledged feud between the duo. The once close friends have been attempting to hash out their issues since Season 14 premiered, but we're now 8 episodes in, and things are still tumultuous between them. We're keeping our fingers crossed that by the Season 14 reunion, these two can mend fences and move on, but we're not holding our breath. It was a sunny afternoon in New York City when Andy Cohen walked onto the set of Watch What Happens Live with an unmistakable air of intrigue. The Bravo host and executive producer had been fielding questions for weeks, nay months, about a rumor that had Bravo fanatics in a frenzy. The whispers had started innocently enough on social media. Lisa Vanderpump, the British queen bee of The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, might be returning to the show that made her a household name. The chatter had reached a fever pitch, and tonight, Andy Cohen had decided to address it head-on. The set of Watch What Happens Live was buzzing with anticipation. The audience, a mix of superfans and celebrities, sat on the edge of their seats. The show's bartenders, decked out in pink suits as a nod to Vanderpump's signature style, poured glasses of Vanderpump Rosé. Andy took his seat, a cheeky grin spreading across his face. He knew how to tease his audience just enough to keep them hooked. "All right, folks," Andy began, clasping his hands together. "I know why you're here. I know why Twitter is on fire, and I know why every DM I've received in the past 2 weeks has started with, 'Is it true?' So let's talk about it." The crowd erupted in cheers and applause, a wave of excitement washing over the studio. Andy paused, letting the moment breathe. He lived for this, the suspense, the speculation, the drama. As you all know, Lisa Vanderpump left The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after season 9 in what we'll call less than ideal circumstances. Andy said, choosing his words carefully. Since then, she's been thriving with her restaurants, her animal rescue work, and, of course, Vanderpump Rules, which is having its own renaissance. A ripple of laughter spread through the audience. Andy leaned forward, his expression growing more serious. But the question everyone wants answered is Lisa Vanderpump coming back to Beverly Hills? The audience held their collective breath. Andy glanced at his cue cards, then tossed them aside dramatically. "Here's what I can tell you," he said, his voice dropping to a conspiratorial tone. Conversations have happened. The crowd erupted again, some people leaping to their feet in excitement. Andy raised a hand to quiet them, a twinkle in his eye. "Now, before you start planning a welcome-back party at SUR, let me explain," he continued. "Lisa and I have had some very candid discussions about what a return could look like. She's always been clear that she values her time and her energy, and let's be honest, she's Lisa freakin' Vanderpump. She doesn't do anything halfway." Andy paused, scanning the room. He knew his next words would set the Bravo-verse ablaze. "One thing Lisa and I agreed on is that if she were to come back, it would have to be on her terms. And let me tell you, those terms are very Vanderpump." The audience erupted into laughter, imagining what that might entail. Andy continued, clearly enjoying himself. "I'm talking more pink in the opening credits, possibly a diamond-encrusted tagline. And, oh yes, she'd need a pony in every scene," he joked, eliciting more laughter. But seriously, Lisa's return would mean addressing the past, and that's no small feat. There's a lot of history there. Andy's tone softened, signaling a shift to sincerity. "I know some of you are thinking about the infamous Puppagate drama, the feuds, the friendships that fell apart," he said. "Lisa's departure was emotional for her and for the fans. Coming back would mean revisiting all of that. It's not something she takes lightly." The audience nodded along, clearly invested. Andy leaned back in his chair, his trademark smirk returning. "But if there's one thing I've learned in my years at Bravo, it's that the Housewives universe is full of surprises. Nothing is ever truly off the table. And if Lisa Vanderpump does decide to return, you better believe it's going to be iconic." The audience erupted into cheers once more, some chanting Lisa's name. Andy held up his hands, basking in the moment. "Now, I'm not saying she's coming back," he clarified, "but I'm also not saying she's not. Stay tuned, folks. You know how this works." With that, Andy transitioned to the next segment, but the buzz in the room was palpable. Social media was already ablaze, with fans dissecting every word, every inflection, every nuance of what Andy had said. Memes of Lisa Vanderpump holding a diamond in one hand and a glass of rosé in the other flooded Twitter. The hashtag Vanderpump Returns was trending within minutes. Backstage, Andy checked his phone, smiling as messages poured in. One text, in particular, caught his eye. It was from Lisa Vanderpump herself. "Darling," it read, "you do know how to stir the pot. Let's talk soon." Andy chuckled, pocketing his phone. He had a feeling this story was far from over. As the saying goes, in Beverly Hills, you can never have too much drama or too much Vanderpump.